Got another double animated review. So we are going to tackle the original Inside Out that came out in 2015 and part 2 that just was released last Thursday, which I do not have a box for because it's in theaters. So just to pretend this is part 1 and part 2 boxes that I'm holding. So let's talk about part 1. Part 1 came out, in 2015. It was directed by Pete Docter. It has an hour and 35-minute runtime. So the screenplay was written by Pete Docter, Meg LaFave, and Josh Cooley, but I'm sure there was many more people that went into it. In 2009, the director developed the original idea when he developed the changing emotions of his daughter as she grew older. This movie had a $175 million budget. It went on to gross $858 million worldwide at the box office. It won an Academy Award for the Best Animated Feature for the year and the top 10 movies of 2015 by the National Board of Review. Many consider it the best animated movie of all time. Neurosurgeons, psychologists were consulted to accurately portray the human mind and emotions for this film. There was over 7 different versions of this film written before they settled on the movie that we saw in theaters. Originally, 27 emotions were considered, but it was scaled down for simplicity and to fit into the film's allotted time. Psychology Today magazine loves it. Philosophy magazines love it. It's a very popular movie. It's a tearjerker. I remember seeing this movie in theaters in 2015. All-star cast. Amy Poehler leads the way. Lewis Black is in it. Mindy Kaling, Bill Hader are in it. So it's a great Pixar Disney movie, right? John Lasseter wasn't really consulted for this movie because the studio was going through a transition at the time. But be that as it may, do you kind of want to talk about this movie, guys, the original one, and kind of give an overview about what this is about?
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Part 1's better. Okay.
That's not giving a synopsis, though. Well,
So Inside Out Part 1 here, the concept is that they basically are inside of Riley's mind.
Yeah.
And they're the emotions, and whenever something happens,
Okay,
well,
you
they're
can be
there. There's only just one emotion, joy, then there's the other 4 emotions that appear later in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But the twist in the movie is when sadness and joy accidentally get sucked up this tube, and they get sent to
the forgotten memory area, right? And that's where they meet the Blip Blop guy played by Richard Kind, who was not reprising his role in the second movie. Spoiler alert.
And I got some bonus information if you want to hear.
Sure.
Okay, so they were planning on making this character called Gloom, which they would have to fight Gloom.
Well, that kind of goes back to the fact that they originally had written 27 different emotions, but they had to cut it down, right? So this movie was very successful. It has a Rotten Tomato critic average of 98%. Over 100,000 audience members on Rotten Tomatoes submitted their average, 89%. Very high IMDb score, 8.1 out of 10. Guys, we're talking about the reviews now. 8.1 out of 10 for IMDb. 1,700 plus Google reviewers have submitted their review. When you have a lot of kids, lots of conflict. 4.6 out of 5. So I'm going to go 4 out of 5 on the original movie. It's a great movie. It's a lovable movie. It is an emotionally stirring movie, but it's a fun movie. So you were 4 out of 5 too?
Yeah.
What about you? Did you not like?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. What about you, Samuel? What's your review on the first one? Do you have a review in mind? Okay. You're 5 out of 5. How about you, Zachary? Do you have you seen this movie?
Yes.
Do you like it? Okay. So kids of all ages. 5 out of 5. Kids of all ages. Let's dive into part 2, which we saw yesterday, and it costs $54 to see in the matinee. Not to mention a large popcorn was $11.75. This movie is saving the day for abysmal movie box office total year in 2024. This is the directorial debut by Kelsey Mann. It has an hour and 36-minute runtime. Critics love this movie. Rotten Tomato critic average is 91%. Over 1,000 audience members have submitted their average, 96%. IMDb, 8 out of 10. 1,300 Google users, 4.7 out of 5. I'm going to be 4 out of 5 on the movie. Same as this. It's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
It's dealing with a complex transition of life, right? It's about Riley now. She's going from middle school to high school. And 9 different teenagers were consulted to accurately portray modern life and the awkward transition from junior high to high school. A sequel was planned after the popularity of the first film as far back as 2016. Talks began. Almost all the original cast reprises their role, except for Bill Hader did not come back to play Fear, and Mindy Kaling did not come back to play Disgust. The reason being, Amy Poehler, who plays Joy, was given $5 million to reprise her role from the original film. Kaling and Bill Hader were only offered $100,000 apiece, so they walked and they got other vocalists to portray those voices. Maya Hawke plays the new anxiety emotion. They pulled from the original 27 emotions that they developed from the first film to kind of develop this story. It wasn't nearly as long of a process, right? If you remember, we talked about the first film. It took them 5 years to kind of settle on the final story, right? This one it took a lot shorter of amount of the time. Although 2016 to 2024, that's still like, what, almost 8 years. So these animated movies take a long time to refine. The director, Kelsey Mann, started his career over 20 years ago at Cartoon Network. This movie had a $200 million budget. So far, it is the #1 movie, I believe, of 2024. It has grossed over $300 million worldwide in its first week, and it's saving Disney because they've had a lot of really bad flops lately. What's your guys' rating on the new film from this year?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 the same. Part 2 is better. Part 1 is better.
You like part 1 better? You like 5 out of 5? What is some of the things that you like the most about this movie, guys?
What I like the most about this movie is Charlie.
Zachary, you weren't even there to see this movie. Now let these guys talk about it.
So, here's what I like about the movie.
Here, bud.
I like it how they introduced new characters, and they had a teaser.
Yeah.
For there might be a part 3 in this movie.
I would imagine so. There's still a lot more to talk about of human emotions.
Yeah.
But it's a coming-of-age movie, right? Yeah. She has her original friends group, the Riley character, and then she goes to this hockey camp, and she's looking up to this one older girl that's the captain of the high school hockey team. And it's a tug of war between, do I stick with my original friends that I've had for a long time, or do I try to fit in with the cool crowd and be somebody else? And you're changing, you're getting older. It's dealing with a lot of complicated feelings. It had a lot of heartfelt moments. I found myself getting emotional watching the second movie as much as I did watching the first film. It's an overall good movie, and I think it has a good message, dealing with a lot of complicated feelings that everybody has as they get older, right?
Yeah. Okay, now let me tell what I like about it. So, just like Samuel was talking about, he said that they were giving teasers. I was going to talk about that, but I also do like all the new emotions.
Yeah.
I expected there to be new emotions, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
That one's awesome.
Okay, Zachary.
For me to expect it. But anyway, so what the thing I wanted to talk about is the teaser for part 3. There might be a part 3.
Yeah.
See, what they teased about is this emotion comes from this door that's in the headquarters, and apparently it leads to the basement where all the emotions come from. And it's, what's it called? I forget.
There's so many different layers of this movie, right? And I feel like this movie is a little complicated for younger kids because it's dealing with human emotions that are complex, right? There's a lot of layers to this movie. And I found myself looking over and wondering if you guys were fully grasping the message of this movie and what was going on. As much as it is a kid's movie, right? The original movie is rated PG. So it's a little bit more for older kids, in my opinion, in some of the subject matter. But adults will love this movie as much as kids could understand it, right? I think this movie is a lot better for people that have already gone through it. Maybe you're not yet understanding some of the things that have happened, but you will.
I am.
Okay.
I am understanding that.
Anyway,
You said it was a complex movie yesterday when we got out of the movie
It
theater.
was kind of a complex movie because I didn't really know what was going on in
So-
part 2.
Yeah,
nostalgia
I don't know what's
is
going
the
on
emotion
in
that
part-
comes out of the basement.
it's a very complex movie.
But
Yes.
anxiety said that she's supposed to come up in 10 years, and she pushed her back into the basement.
Yeah. So perhaps there will be a part 3 down the road. But again, almost 10 years. It was 9 years between part 1 and part 2. But they pick up where the other one left off seamlessly, right? So that's what we have to say. Go out and see Inside Out Part 2. It's a good movie.
Bye, Peach.
We'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, May.